Welcome to the Digital Business Evolution Podcast, a place that you can now call home. I know you're creating long-lasting impact in this world, and you absolutely deserve the time, location, career, and financial freedom that you desire. I'm here to guide you with proven strategies, tools, and mindset hacks that I've taught to thousands of business owners. You'll also be hearing from exceptional guests sharing stories of their own personal and business evolution. My name is Jessica DeRose, and I'm here to teach you what I'm learning. We are all inherently worthy, regardless of the number of degrees, awards, and accolades that we've collected along the way. Grab a notebook, a coffee, and enjoy the show. Hello. Welcome back to the show. I'm diving right in today because we're talking about objections, and you don't have a lot of time. I get it. So I want to jump right in. So this may be a controversial topic, controversial in the way that everybody has different thoughts on this. Everybody has different beliefs. What I was initially taught many years ago about objections is that when a potential client says they have an objection, like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, what are people going to think of me? What if I get judged? I'm not supported at home, whatever that might be, that I was supposed to handle these objections in a way that I basically told the person that their objections were wrong, that their feelings were wrong. And I was supposed to sort of show them a different path, show them how what they thought maybe wasn't true, show them a different way, basically just navigate around so much so that they would then say yes. Now, over the years, there is clarity and contrast, right? So over the years in doing different things, trying different things, putting out tons of offers, invitations, lots of sales, having lots of conversations, my opinion has changed a little bit. So that's what I want to share with you today. So when someone has an objection to why they might not want to join or buy or say yes, I really think that there are two paths here. And that's what we're going to break down. So path number one, I believe, is circumstantial. You really can't say what is true in somebody's life. So let me give you an example. If you're trying to sell someone into your program or your course, and they say that it's really not a good time, and you were to even ask a little bit of maybe what's going on or why is it not a good time, or they tell you why it's not a good time, and they say, well, I had a baby 3 days ago. It's really not a good time right now. I had a baby 3 days ago. To me, this is circumstance. This is not an objection. This is reality. This person had a baby 3 days ago, and they have very valid concerns that they're probably not going to be able to show up in the way that they want to. They're probably not going to be able to be present. They're probably not going to get their work done. They probably aren't going to be able to jump on calls. They maybe are a first-time parent and they have no idea what to expect, and they're just scared out of their mind to even be a parent and navigate the waters of that. Or maybe they're not a first-time parent and they have other kids and they're like, there's just literally no way with a 3-day-old and other children that I can do this right now. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested in what you're offering me. And it doesn't mean I don't believe you can actually help me. And it certainly doesn't make me think that you're not worthy or valuable. It's just literally my circumstance. And so as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a digital CEO, whatever you might call yourself, I personally believe it's not our responsibility. It's not our right. It's not our position to say whether or not somebody's reality is true. And it's definitely not our job to talk them out of their reality. Another example here might be someone that just lost their job. And in addition to losing their job, they're actually in debt. Who are we to say that they're wrong? Who are we to say that they're just not prioritizing, right? Who are we to say that they're not taking it seriously and they're not committed when they actually don't know how they're going to pay their mortgage next month? So this path A is circumstance. We do not get to decide. And I personally believe that handling, I say that in quotes, like handling the objection is actually disempowering. Now you could potentially be making them feel less than, not good enough, like they're doing something wrong, when in the reality is they're just living inside of a circumstance that is real in their world. And so if this might be one of the situations when someone has an objection, then I think the most powerful thing to do, the most empowering thing to do is say, I see you, I hear you, I get it. Yeah, probably isn't the best time right now. It's a good thing we have an open door policy. I would love you to come back. I would love to help you when you think that you're ready, when it's a better time. I would love to still be there to support you. It's an open door policy. I lead with compassion. I meet you where you're at. This is a circumstance in your life. And I acknowledge you for even getting on the phone with me. I see you. I acknowledge you for even considering a program like this in the future. I love the fact that you're a logical buyer and you're just collecting all of the information so that you can pack it away, so that you can prepare yourself for the future. And I'm definitely going to do an episode on the different types of buyers because we have lots of different types of buyers. And as a business owner, it's a superpower to understand that, because then you get to sell to all the different types of buyers and not just one type. When we make this assumption that we have to handle people's objections and that we have to basically tell them that they're wrong in their objection, despite the fact that it might just be a circumstance, we are absolutely being, number one, disempowering, but number two, we are being blinded by the fact that there are many different types of buyers, and we're only speaking to one. All right, so path A, path one is the circumstance. Path B is the fear. Now, this is where I believe you can do a little bit more sort of coaching if it's invited. We don't ever want to give unsolicited coaching or unsolicited advice. So B is really going to be fear is coming up for somebody. Fear is just fancy for uncertainty. It's unfamiliar. We're scared of things when we haven't done them before. We're scared of things that we don't know what the outcome is. When we don't have control, when we don't know how it's going to feel, then we have fear. And so we're going to unpack this for a second. And I've talked about this before, but the person on the other end isn't necessarily scared of the thing that they're saying they're scared of. They're scared of what they've made it mean about them. Humans, we are little meaning-making machines. We love to make meaning out of things. So if they're saying that they're scared or that they don't have the money or they don't have the time, that's coming from a deeper belief based on a past experience that they've now created this story that they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the expertise, that they might get judged, they might get rejected, they might fail. And then what do those things mean about them? And we've talked about this before. So now it's a place, it's an opportunity for you to help sort of dismantle or change the belief. It's not about telling them they're right or wrong, and it's not about you handling the objection. But this is path B, where it's a fear coming from a deeper rooted place based on an experience or evidence they have of the past. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so now you have this opportunity, if they're open to it, to help them see things differently, to help them reframe the way that they're looking at things, to help them look at things through a different lens. And so what might be coming up for them is that they're feeling stuck. And when you start to break that down, you understand that that feeling of stuck is because they're really not making any money and they don't have the leads and they're not making sales. And so the feeling of stuck really has nothing to do with not having the resources, but rather they just simply aren't making the money. And if we plugged in the money that they wanted to make, well, then they wouldn't feel stuck anymore. And so what we're doing here is we're taking this external problem. I don't know what to do. I don't have the sales. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Nobody's engaging. And we're going into a deeper rooted internal feeling. What's really coming up for them? How are they feeling? We're then offering them a solution. And here is where we get to sort of dismantle their old belief and recreate a new belief. And so I'm sure you've heard before that thoughts become things, and I don't believe that's true at all. I believe that beliefs become things. So hang with me here for a second. Picture a ladder, picture some sort of an ascension, picture like a pyramid. And at the very bottom, there's 6 levels here. Bottom level 1 is belief. So what you believe is based on stories, based on experience and evidence. So that might be something that you grew up with. It's something your parents always said. It's generational. It's deep. It's based on what you've seen, what you've experienced in your life. That is a belief. So level 1 is the belief that you have. It's the core. It's all the way down at the foundation. And what you believe is number 2. That's what you think. It's your thoughts on the daily basis that are actually repeated day in and day out. We think most of our thoughts every single day that we thought previously, whether they're good or bad, negative or positive. And so the belief that you have creates the thought that you think, which brings us up to number 3, which is the feeling you have. If you think you're not good enough, you will feel blah. If you think you can take on the world, if you think you're amazing, if you think that you're going to crush it today, You're probably going to feel more motivated, more inspired, more empowered. And those feelings bring us to number 4, which is the decision. So when you feel blah, you make blah decisions. And when you feel elevated and vibrating, you're making elevated decisions. And that decision brings us to number 5, which is going to be our action. So based on what we decide, we act. Well, I'm feeling motivated and inspired and unstoppable. So the decision is that I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get my workout in. That's my action. I'm going to go do the thing that's going to elevate me even more. Or I'm feeling blah and I'm laying in bed and my decision's to Netflix and eat ice cream. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But that's the action. And then from 5 with our actions brings us up to 6, which is going to be the result. Of course, we know that. We don't get results without action. So based on the fact that you took the action, you laid in bed and Netflixed, or you went to the gym, you're going to receive the result. So beliefs turn to thoughts, which turn to feelings, which turn to decisions, which go to actions, which create results. And so when you're helping somebody through the fear of sort of dismantling the belief, we go really deep. And we help them see where it's coming from. What's the past experience or evidence that they have? And now here's the cool part. Can they borrow evidence of other people? So just because they haven't lived it yet, they haven't experienced it yet, they haven't made the money, lost the weight, done the thing yet, is there someone in their life, whether it's someone in their actual close proximity life, or maybe just a mentor, a person on social media that they see, that they look up to? Is there evidence that somebody else has done it? Has another mom of 3 actually done a program and had success? Has another person who didn't have the money borrowed the money from someone else? Has another coach out there who wasn't certified yet built a successful business and then got certified along the way? Is it true? Is there evidence out there that it could happen? Because if it could happen for somebody else, then why can't it happen for you? And so when we're looking at how do we navigate, how do we dance through objections with potential clients, we've got Avenue A, it's circumstance. Maybe you meet them where they're at and lead with compassion. You know what? It's not the best fit, time, space, container, and that's okay. Open door policy. But don't try to change their thought, and certainly don't make them feel disempowered, like something is wrong with them because you think they're not prioritizing it. Shame on you. It's not our job. It's not our place. It's not our space to decide what's going on in somebody's life. Just as it's not our place or space to decide what people in our audience are actually feeling. So many times I've had friends say, well, people only follow me for X, so they don't need Y. Who are you to decide that? Humans are multidimensional. Just because I follow you for fitness doesn't mean I don't follow other accounts for interior design or jewelry making or funny memes about dogs. Of course I do. We all do. So you don't get to decide the person's circumstance. Avenue B, path B, is fear. And only over time will you get comfortable and confident and a little bit more swaggy with being able to delineate, is this circumstance or is this fear? And maybe you never want to distinguish those two. Maybe you never want to be in the position where you're choosing where the person falls. Or maybe this episode is helping you see things in a different light. Because if it's just fear, we have the opportunity, if we're invited, to give a little bit of coaching, to help them navigate some of those roadblocks, not to trick and manipulate them into the sale, but just to bring up to the surface what might be going on. Hey, where's that coming from? Why is that true for you? Where in your life have you seen evidence otherwise? Can you borrow that evidence? Because what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing after working with so many clients is that it sounds like you're actually just kind of sabotaging yourself here, allowing your fear to become the excuse so that you don't have to take action. Because if you take action, then ultimately you're responsible for the result. And that's scary. That's really heavy when we can't pass off the result or lack thereof to somebody else, but we take full responsibility for it. That's a heavy weight for a lot of people. And so the way that I see objections is some are circumstantial and some are fear-based. And at the end of the day, it is never our place, it is never our decision, and it is never our job to make people act or not act. We're mirrors for one another. So act as however you want to be perceived in this world, be however you want to be perceived in this world, and trust that the people that want to see you in the way that you want them to see you will, and trust that people who need to see you in a way that they need to see you in order to recognize things within themselves, they will. I apologize again for all the dog noise in the background today, but this is real life. We are running a podcast from our office at home, and that's just what it is. So if taking action has been something that you've been fearful of doing, and you've been objecting to doing something because you're afraid that you're not going to be ready, or that your dog is going to make noise in the background, or that your baby's going to cry in the background, just know that it's totally fine. We're all humans. You're not supposed to be perfect. I'd love to hear your opinions on this episode. DM me at I am Jessica DeRose and tell me what you think, because I know that this sort of handling objections topic could be super controversial. And we don't always have to agree with one another. We're not supposed to agree with one another. We're all allowed to have our own opinions. And my opinions have only grown through time, through taking action, through contrast, through trying things. Believe you and me, 10 years ago when I was doing network marketing and I was cold calling leads every day after school, I was getting a lot of no's. And I was relentless in trying to handle their objections. I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. It was my journey, and I wouldn't be here today without those moments. But now I don't handle objections. I listen. I leave the door open. I offer support if support is asked for. I offer guidance if guidance is asked for. I don't give unsolicited advice. I don't try to force anybody into a sale. In fact, I don't even teach closing sales. In our signature program, Empower, we teach clients to open sales. Closing feels like you're boxing them in. Opening feels like you're creating a new opportunity, unlocking a door to a portal that they've never gone to. You're opening the opportunity for transformation. You are not closing anybody into anything. All right, I'm going to wrap there today. DM me, let me know your thoughts. As always, share this episode out. It would mean the world to me. And I will see you next time. Cheers to your evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.